Penguins' hidden gems, top prospects beyond the top 25, under 25. A new era of depth, unpacking the Pittsburgh Penguins' promising young players just outside the top 25. For years, the Pittsburgh Penguins' prospect pool was so shallow that an honorable mention article was hardly necessary. Not anymore. Following a bustling draft with 13 new picks and strategic trades, the team's youth landscape has transformed. This shift means we can finally adopt a more patient approach to evaluating young talent, no longer forced to rely on hopeful newcomers to fill gaps. The waiting game, why some names are left off the top 25 for now. In hockey, development is a marathon, not a sprint. The draft pick of today might need 3 to 4 years to reveal their true potential. This year, some 2025 draftees will indeed make the top players list, but only those showcasing projectable skills or significant organizational value as high picks. The days of automatic inclusion are behind us, marking a positive turn for both the list's credibility and the prospect pool's health. The best of the rest, young players worth watching. Daniel Laatsch, the late-blooming defender. At 23, Laatsch is an outlier in terms of age on this list, but his inexperience at the professional level makes him a fascinating case. Fresh from the University of Wisconsin and recovering from hip surgery, Laatsch has caught the eye of Tom Kostopoulos, the Penguins' Director of Player Development, for his size, stick handling, and offensive prowess. With almost no offensive capabilities, Laatsch faces an uphill battle, but his unique combination of attributes offers a glimmer of hope. The upcoming season will be pivotal in determining his potential to rise through the ranks as a reliable defender. Ryan Miller, the industrious forward. Selected in the 5th round, 130th overall of the 2025 draft. Miller impressed at development camp with his high compete level, intelligence, and puck skills. Despite not being the most flashy prospect, his ability to consistently make an impact and his experience as a 17-year-old alternate captain for the Portland Winterhawks position him as a dependable, versatile player for the future. Miller's journey is one to follow, especially as he builds on his success in more prominent roles. Gabriel D'Aigle, the goalie with raw talent. Taken 84th overall in the 2025 draft, D'Aigle presents an intriguing challenge. Having faced an onslaught of shots in a high-scoring league, his statistics may not impress, but the Penguins see potential in his athleticism and size. Assistant GM Jason Spezza highlighted the team's plan to refine D'Aigle's technical game, acknowledging the long developmental road ahead. With time on their side, the Penguins can nurture D'Aigle's natural talent, though his path to the NHL remains uncertain. Kalle Kangas, the Finnish defender with upside. A 7th-round pick in 2023, Kangas has gradually made a case for himself, particularly with his performances at the U20 World Junior Championships and in Finland's top league. Though unsigned to the NHL, with rights lasting until June 2027, Kangas' size and growing experience keep him in the picture, despite the Penguins' crowded defensive prospect pool. His skating, however, remains a work in progress. Charlie Trethewey, the local boy with a long-term plan. As a product of the Pittsburgh Penguins elite program, and with roots in Western PA, Trethewey's story could be one for the ages if he reaches the NHL. The 73rd overall pick in 2025, Trethewey is lauded for his two-way potential, strong defensive play, and competitiveness. With a likely 3-year college stint ahead, possibly extending to 4, the Penguins could afford to wait for Trethewey to develop. A luxury mill possible by their now deep prospect pool. But here's where it gets interesting. Will the Penguins' patience with these young players pay off in the long run? Can a deep prospect pool truly be a double-edged sword, potentially leading to logjams and tough roster decisions down the line? And this is the part most people miss. The real test at the Penguins' revamped scouting and development strategy will be in how they balance nurturing talent with making room for growth within the organization. We want to hear from you. Do you think the Penguins are on the right track with their prospect development approach? Which of these young players do you think has the most potential to break into the NHL? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Top Penguins prospects ready to shine in NHL. The Pittsburgh Penguins prospect pipeline is no longer a question mark. It's a full-blown revolution. For years, fans wondered if the team's future would ever align with its storied past. But here's the twist. The Penguins have quietly built a prospect list so deep and dynamic that it's reshaping the NHL's power rankings. And this is the part most people miss. This isn't just about raw talent. It's about players ready to step into the NHL spotlight now. The coaching staff, led by Dan Muse and his team of young, friendly assistants, is primed to fast-track this next generation. But here's where it gets controversial. How do you rank a 17-year-old phenom like Will Horkoff against a battle-tested goalie like Sergei Murashov? Let's dive in. The 2025 rankings were a beast to finalize. We expanded the list to 26 players, adding Artur Silovs to the top 25 because his NHL-ready potential is too glaring to ignore. But we also had to cut names like Sam Poulin and Max Swanson. Tough calls, but honest ones. Poulin's fall from grace, a reminder that even the most hyped prospects can hit a wall. Want the full breakdown? Subscribe to PA10 Plus for the PDF version. Trust us, it's worth it. 5. Will Horkoff, the draft day Cinderella story. A few weeks ago, Horkoff was a long shot, selected 24th overall in 2025, but buried in the rankings. Then he showed up at development camp and wowed everyone. This 6'4", 180-pound winger isn't just a project, he's a finisher. During intra-squad scrimmages, he carved through pro defensemen like they were on cruise control. His highlight reel move? A left wall breakaway that left goalies scrambling. At 18, he's still raw, but his skating has improved faster than expected. If he keeps this momentum, 2026-27 could be his NHL debut. But here's the debate. Is his size a liability in the NHL, or will his skill outpace the doubters? Sound off in the comments. 4. Sergei Murashov, the goalie who doesn't need a net. Sergei Murashov isn't just a goalie, he's a game changer. At 21, he's already broken consecutive win streaks for both the Wheeling Nailers and WBS Penguins. His 12-3-0 record in 16 AHL games, that's not luck. It's a .913 save percentage, folks. But here's the catch. Murashov plays like a 5'10 athlete in a 6'2" body. He's quick, but his size could limit his ceiling. Assistant GM Jason Spezza admits he's still a work in progress. Yet his rise mirrors Matt Murray's. Fast, furious, and full of promise. Is he the next big thing, or will his style eventually crumble under NHL pressure? We'll see. 3. Harrison Brunicky, the South African sensation. Brunicky's story is a modern hockey fairy tale. A 19-year-old right-handed defenseman from South Africa, he nearly made the NHL last season. His smooth skating and defensive smarts made him a dark horse candidate. At 6'3", 202 pounds, he's built to anchor a second pairing. But here's the rub. CHL transfer rules force him to choose between the NHL and WHL. GM Kyle Dubas's recent D-man slidings might delay his debut, but Brunicky's ready. Development director Tom Kostopoulos called him a finished product. Is he the next Alex Pietrangelo? Or will his junior eligibility hold him back? The clock's ticking. 2. Rutger McGrorty, the versatile vagabond. McGrorty's 2024 season was a masterclass in adaptability. After a 3-point NHL stint last year, he's ready to prove he's more than a role player. At 6'1", 203 pounds, he's a two-way winger with a knack for penalty killing. But here's the twist. He's not the Jake Gensel clone everyone thinks he is. His skating has improved dramatically, and his defensive grit, it's elite. Can he hit 20 goals while anchoring the penalty kill? Or is he destined to be a 15-goal, 40-point workhorse? The answer might define his NHL career. Ville Koivunen, the Finnish fireable. Koivunen's rise is the stuff of legends. A 22-year-old with a 5'11", 161-pound frame, he's the antithesis of a traditional NHL forward. But his hockey IQ, off the charts. After a slow start in North America, he exploded in the second half of the season with 7 assists in 8 games. WBS teammates call him sick, as in hockey sick. He's the heir apparent to Jake Gensel, but with a sharper edge. Can he score his first NHL goal this season? Or will his playmaking overshadow his scoring? Either way, he's a Calder Trophy contender. And if he and McGrorty both make the all-rookie team, Pittsburgh's future just got a whole lot brighter. So, what do you think? Is the Penguins' rebuild already a success? Or are these prospects just a flash in the pan? Drop your thoughts below. We're all ears. Pittsburgh Penguins prospects, future stars, and NHL arrival predictions. 2024 to 2026. Imagine a future where the Pittsburgh Penguins are no longer just a team, but a powerhouse in the NHL, where the prospect pool is the envy of every other organization. For the first time in a generation, that future is starting to look like a reality. The Penguins' rebuild is in full swing, and the excitement is palpable. But here's where it gets really interesting. The team's prospect pool is loaded with talented players who are ready to make a significant impact in the league. I've had the chance to speak with several people within the organization since the NHL draft and the team's recently completed rookie camp. And what I've learned is nothing short of astonishing. Let's start with Harrison Brinicki, the 19-year-old defenseman who's been making waves in the organization. While it's unlikely he'll make the team out of training camp, given the presence of Erik Karlsson, Chris Letang, Matt Dumba, and Connor Clifton, the Penguins are absolutely smitten with him. And it's easy to see why. Brinicki's competitiveness is his greatest strength, and he's got the personality to wear a letter on his chest someday. In fact, a high-ranking member of the organization told me that Brinicki's competitiveness is what sets him apart from other players. He wants to make the team out of camp, they say. He's got a fire in his belly that's hard to find in young players. The Penguins believe they got a steal in the second round, and they're expecting big things from him in the future. But what about Benjamin Kindle, the player the Penguins selected with the 11th pick in the draft? Some people think the team reached for him, but the Penguins are convinced they made the right choice. Kindle's hockey mind is his greatest strength, and the team believes he'll become an NHL standout. In fact, one team source compared him to a younger version of Jake Guentzel, saying that he's got a similar hockey IQ. And then there's Bill Zonon, the 22nd pick in the draft, who's been impressing everyone with his simple yet effective game. The Penguins think they landed a steal, and scouts agree that his floor is very high. He's big, physically mature, and plays a game that NHL coaches love. The Penguins are also high on Will Horkoff, the third of their first-round picks, who impressed at rookie camp with his size and hockey IQ. One longtime member of the organization said he reminds them of Jordan Staal, which is high praise indeed. But what about Emil Pieneniemi, the Penguins' third-round selection in the 2023 NHL draft? His stock rose significantly after he produced 60 points in 60 games with the Kingston Frontenacs last season. The Penguins think his skating and overall defensive work need to improve, but they love his decisions with the puck and believe he'll mature into a good puck-moving NHL defenseman. And this is the part most people miss. The Penguins' acquisition of goaltender Artur Shilovs doesn't mean they're down on their other young goaltenders. In fact, they're very high on prospects Sergei Murashov and Joel Blomqvist, particularly Murashov, whose ceiling is especially high. The Penguins are eager to gauge his progress in training camp, and many people expect him to make his NHL debut by the 2026-27 season, at the latest. But here's the question. Are the Penguins tanking for Gavin McKenna, the surefire first pick in the 2026 NHL draft? The organization says no, but they're certainly delighted that he'll be playing at Penn State next season. Expect Penguins boss Kyle Dubas and many other team officials to be keeping a close eye on him just in case. So, what do you think? Are the Penguins making the right moves? Or are they taking a risk with some of these prospects? Let us know in the comments. The future of the Penguins is looking bright, and it's going to be exciting to see how these young players develop. But one thing's for sure, the Penguins are all in on their rebuild, and they're willing to take some risks to get back to the top of the NHL.